Hello and welcome to another episode of Life Talks with Fawole. We have the wizard, yes, Parliamentary, me, Fawole, and the amazing Mark, aka Slider Cuts in the house. Come on!
Thank you for having me.
No, thank you for coming. Give me 3. 1, 2, 3. Anytime I'm going to ask you for that, you'll get it as we go along. What's going on?
Cool.
Like, people who don't know, Mark's family. See what I'm saying? There's no two ways of putting it. Your family, innit?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So from DNL's and your history and our history, our histories are intertwined.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen you for a long time, but it doesn't change the way I feel about you, love you. We're going to obviously stuff during the interviews, you know what I'm saying? You know I'm going to try and touch on that.
Yeah.
But yeah, for everyone out there, if you don't know, it's my brother. You know what I'm saying? Love him like a brother. There's other people out there that's in the family and it's inherent for we've grown together kind of thing and we're still standing. I love and respect you.
Thank you.
That's cool. It's cool. Slider, what you saying?
I'm good. I'm very well, you know. I'm blessed.
Yes, you're blessed, man. Talk to me. How? Let's talk about your origins. I want to break it all the way down because we're going to break it down for people who don't know about you.
Okay.
They're going to find stuff out about you today. And people that do know about you, they'll find out more stuff about you and maybe see a different side to your character.
All right, yep,
You get what I'm saying?
Yep.
First, I want to ask you, what's that over there? What's that over there?
The book I wrote, Shaping Up Culture.
And I didn't even know you wrote a book, you know. Wow. See, that's what I just said about people getting to know stuff, right? And that wasn't even a plan. That wasn't planning or nothing. I didn't know. Wow, you wrote a book. Well done, brother.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
what's the concept? What's it about and everything?
It's actually mainly a business book, partially in the slightest. It's kind of more so in it's slightly a kind of almost self-help book, but not a self-help book, not one of these ones which we're talking about where it's kind of like, you know, look in the mirror and say you're great 3 times, you'll be great type thing. Is actually like practical advice about helping your future and where you're going and what you're doing with your life right now. It's everywhere. Amazon, bookstores, Waterstones, everywhere.
Yeah. What motivated you to write it?
Where I'm coming from, the people around me. So as I started gaining, you know, a little bit of success in my career, just with the things I was doing, just cutting hair and so on, and I started elevating a little bit, I started realizing that people around me didn't really know how the world really worked. Because of where we're coming from, everyone has this closed mindset and we listen to a bunch of older people who don't actually know what they're doing either, but we think they know what they're doing, so we follow them, but it's like the blind leading the blind.
I'm about to say that.
You know? And when I started doing certain things, whether it's like, you know, just as simple as, you know, buying a property, you know, running businesses, I just started realizing, whoa, a lot of the things which people around me and older people were saying, it's not actually true. And I started realizing that they were actually lying. They were just, you know, keeping up with a front because they didn't know. They just had to pretend
like they knew. Stuff like, urban
myths
and shit like that.
You know, so when I started seeing these things and seeing my friends which are going down the wrong road and just seeing things crashing, I just started doing these talks on YouTube, just called Shaping Up Culture. And the whole thing was, you know, originally it was like shaping up culture, one hairline at a time. So it's kind of like I'm doing it from the barber chair and just showing people, you know, my views on things and where people are going wrong and things they should be doing. And then suddenly it went from doing vlogs, then I was doing blogs with them. And then suddenly we turned it into a book.
Okay, nice. How do you feel about having achieved that? How did it make you feel personally, you know, like to be able to share with people? Because, you know, you said you went through that journey. You was like blind leading the blind. Something you didn't know, trial and error. Like, yeah.
How did it? Oh, well, it's one of my biggest achievements is writing this book because I never ever thought I would ever write a book. So that's a massive achievement for me. I'm proud of it, to be honest. I love the response I've had from it. You know, we released the first edition and they all sold out. So then we just released the second edition. We added 2 extra chapters into it. So, you know, and that's going well. And people, you know, just great feedback. You go onto Amazon, you can see all the feedback from people who have just bought it and they just love the information. People have messaged me who have read it and just been like, it's been inspirational. They really loved it. So yeah, I'm really proud of this book.
What's the best message you got?
From this book? The whole book, to be honest, if you read the book, you understand the breakdown. And what's good about the book is...
No, when I say message, I'll let you break that down. But, you know, from someone saying, oh, my God, it's helped my life. Oh, my God, I was here and now I'm there. Do you know what I'm saying? In that sense.
No one's actually given me like a personal testimony. They've just said it's been inspiring. It's changed my mindset. It's made me realize, you know, I should be doing things this way. But no one's come back to me and said, you know, I started this £1 million company because of it. So I haven't had that yet. But, you know, I guess maybe soon.
No, definitely soon. Definitely soon. if you could, because you can't condense it because it's a full book. If you could condense one of the lessons, one of the most more fundamental lessons within the book for the viewers at home, go and buy the book. Go and check it out. It's on Amazon. Shaping Up by Mark McIver.
Yep.
What a name you got! You got a strong name, you know. Mark McIver. Then you could slide the cuts. Just rolls off the tongue. You know what I mean? Furthermore, it's like slide the cuts. Ow! We'll get to this. We'll get into this. Yeah, if you could summarize one of the best lessons, or just one lesson within the book, just for people, what one would it be, and how would you do that? Or just please, if you could.
I guess if I summarized it, I think, and this isn't a direct message, this is kind of like the message of the whole book, you know. Your future is in your hands. It's the things you do, the way you think, you know, the steps that you take. There's definitely things that are going to hold you back, whether, you know, that's people in your life, your friends, your family, society. There's definitely these things, but everybody has things that are holding them back. Some more, some less.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, your future is in your hands. It's for you to take the steps. It's for you to work hard. It's for you to do.
Yeah.
You know, so almost stop looking at what everybody else is doing and all the things which are being put in front of you, because if you want to get to somewhere, there's going to be things which are put in front of you.
Yeah, obstacles. Trials and tribulations. Yeah,
that's just life, you know.
Definitely.
So it's in your hands to do, you know. And one of the biggest regrets, I know for me especially, I don't want to have in life isn't failure, it's not trying.
Okay.
Because ultimately we're not going to succeed in everything that we do. Yeah. You know, but I'm going to regret not trying and not knowing that I couldn't have succeeded instead of trying and not succeeding. Yeah. I'd rather just look back and say, okay, well, you know, I tried that thing and it didn't work out. Yeah. Cool. I moved on in it and tried something else and it didn't work out. Cool. I moved on and then that thing worked out. Yeah. But the biggest regret I think most people have is looking back saying, I should have tried the podcast. I should have tried that, you know, actually it could have worked out.
Should have tried playing basketball.
I should have tried playing basketball. I should have tried playing football. I should have tried. Yeah. You know, so I feel like, you know, trying is a massive thing in life, you know, because there's no regrets if you did everything you could and it didn't work out. I always say, you know, do everything you can. The rest is in God's hands. Definitely. I like that.
Have you always been so advantageous?
Yes.
Since a kid?
Yes.
Okay, let's go on.
Yes, I think it probably started, and it's talked about in the opening chapter of my book, where this all kind of started for me. My mum once said to me, I was about 6-7 years old, and I don't know why it stuck with me and it resonated with me. And I can't remember what, we were having a conversation and she was telling me about my granddad and said that in Nigeria, he owned a rubber factory. So he used to make rubber and export it even to England and sell it to like the different countries. And he had a factory. And I remember hearing that, especially at the time we were poor. You know, we just come from being homeless. There's 4 of us, 4 children, you know, my mum and my dad had gone back to Nigeria already. So we've just come from being homeless and council were moving us around into like temporary accommodation. Yeah. So to me, we were just poor. You know, that was just our life, innit? We didn't have money. And my mum told me that my granddad owned a rubber factory. And I don't know why that just stuck with me, because it's kind of like, right, my granddad like has a factory. Yeah. He makes rubber. And that just stuck with me. So then I remember I was 7 years old. And we were in the living room of our house, me, my 3 brothers, my mum, and we were watching something on TV. And it was Arnold Schwarzenegger, and it was talking about he got paid all these millions for a film, which was the start of when I actually said, right, I want to be an actor, because you get paid that much money for you know, doing a film. Yeah. And then we had this conversation where in our room, we were asking ourselves, what would you do if you got given £40,000? This is like 30 years ago. No,
how old was you?
I was 6-7 years old. And we were like talking about what would you do if you got given £40,000. So my older brothers, I had 2 older brothers, 1 younger brother. They were talking about things they would buy, consoles, Super NES, you know, trainers and all these things there, right? But then what my mum said to me, whether it was like months ago, a year ago, stuck in my head. And I said, you know what? If I had £40,000, I would buy a factory and make things to sell. And my brothers all laughed at me. Because obviously we're just young, it didn't make any sense. They were telling me to shut up, like, oh, what are you talking about? But they don't realize that conversation I had with my mum, that's what stuck with me. The idea of making something and building something that's going to make you money. Yeah, you're the business mind. You're the business mind. So what you're saying makes sense. Yeah, like, it just triggered me, but it's what my mum said. And I think also because it was my granddad, it was someone who's related to me. It was like, oh, that's my granddad, that's my mum's dad. He had we're poor. I can't see these things at this moment. Yeah. He had a factory that he was making stuff and selling it. That stuck with me. And I was just like, at that point I said, I'll get a factory. I'll make stuff and sell it. And my brothers kind of just laughed. They didn't understand. They probably don't even remember the story, right? They just laughed because they were talking about trainers and stuff like that. But in my head I was like, that was
That was the one. That you remember being like that.
That's the thing.
Age.
That's the thing you should be doing.
Yeah. What's your relationship like with your brothers? Like, what was it like coming up? You're the second from the
third.
bottom.
Yeah, I'm second from the bottom.
You're
There's
second
four.
from the
Yeah,
bottom. Yeah, you're second from the bottom. Talk about your brothers. Talk about the hierarchy to me. Let me know how it was.
Well, yeah, two older brothers. I grew up in a Nigerian household, so the
Let me give you
hierarchy.
free for that. Hold on a minute. Oh, my Niger. No go no now.
So it's all about respect. You respect your elders. You listen to your elders. If your older brothers say do something, you do it because they have the authority to beat you, and your mum will say nothing if you were disrespectful. So it's just that traditional Nigerian house. We lived in England. Outside the house we were living in England, but in the house we were living in Nigeria.
You remind me of someone else. Who said that? It was IK said that. I love that. That's good though. You keep your culture, man.
So it's mixed. So I grew up. I was like, I'm mixed cultured because outside the house you're not living a Nigerian lifestyle. You're living the English kind of lifestyle, urban lifestyle. Then in the house it's Nigeria. The food we ate, it's all Nigerian food.
Yeah.
I used to look forward to school dinners because every day for us was kind of like. Because I remember people in school, like the English boys, all talking about, this is rubbish, this and that. But I used to look forward to having things like chips.
Yeah. I'm addicted to chips. You know that, right? Yeah.
Because at home we were eating rice and stew, pounded jam. This was our everyday food. It was a special occasion to eat something like chips. In the house. That was like, you had. In the house it's kind of like. If you had chips in the house, or you had...
It's Christmas, we're having chips.
Or fish fingers or whatever it was, that was really like a odd occasion. So, I used to really love it. I remember being in school and the kids would be like, this food is rubbish. I'd be like, I love it. Chips, I don't have this at home. I don't know. Pie? You don't have pie at home. So I loved it.
It was exotic food to you.
Yeah.
So, what do you think about the power of that? The power of having Nigeria at home, or having your own culture at home, and having England or wherever it is outside, because I believe that for a lot of different cultures, it's how they maintain the stability of their whole hierarchy, how they teach their children art, how they keep the money within the communities. It's how everything works smoothly. Like I could name and point out other communities, but I don't want to do that. But what do you think? How do you feel about the benefits of that for you and for other people?
I think it's a great benefit because yes, you adapt. Naturally you're going to adapt to the culture which you're in because you're born here. So I think the fact that having parents, or a parent who was upholding that, and my mum wasn't even consciously doing it. That's just the life she knew. This is the food she knew. She didn't know about chips and all those things there. This is just what she knew: rice and stew, pounded jam. A bowl of soup, and so on and so on and so on.
I'm hungry, making me hungry.
And so on and so on. So I think it's actually great because it means that I have taken some of that on. So now I've got children, even though it's more of a struggle because my mom didn't, because my mom was also very traditional still. She didn't teach us how to make all these things there because in her she just made it because if she had a daughter, she would have taught her daughter how to make it. So I had to get older and go onto YouTube and start learning how to make these things.
Wow.
Because you just know it's the older generation. It's kind of like you're not teaching the boys to cook.
Sorry to interrupt you. It's not going to taste the same though. You need that hand. I know you could learn later on in that. But, I tried to make just say curry goat. Like I'm Nigerian, but Jamaican food never tastes how it tastes from the shop or from someone who's got the recipe from their mum.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. Even that's why I like one of my favorite food like F4. I got my mum to teach my wife how to make it.
Nice.
Because my wife is half English, half Ugandan.
Okay.
So she has her Ugandan dishes and things like that. But I was like, this is my favorite dish. So she went and learned it from my mum.
Yeah.
But and then I'm trying to pass it on to my children as well. Yeah. The things what they should eat. My older son especially, his favorite dish is just jollof rice, which I love. I love it when we're out. And
is jollof rice his favorite dish? Yeah,
it's his favorite dish, and I love it when we're out. And then people are just like, "Oh, what do you love eating?" And he just said jollof rice. It makes me feel proud a little bit because I'm like, okay, cool. He's because as the generations go, you kind of get washed out. Your culture is going to get washed out, especially that I wasn't born in Nigeria. My mom was. So what I'm giving to my children is less than what my mom was giving to me, but I'm just kind of like happy that they're taking some of it on.
I think the crazy thing is though, as well, it's like where we're Nigerians, or if he was like Asian, or if he was Chinese or whatever, even if you had that this connection from your culture and stuff, if you ended up tasting a dish from your country, like even if you hadn't tasted, because you got flavors, you remember stuff. Inherently through your ancestors and stuff, that you say, what is this? Oh my, and you'll start, So the fact that your son loves jollof rice, is part. I think you've taught them everything, but I think part you've passed down as well. It's a beautiful thing like that. We don't realise this, and certain foods they do us better. Like, forget about the starch and all that
Yeah,
other stuff. But certain foods, like, it's always they say, like certain diets we have. But there's certain things within our diets, like I think egusi, that's the melon seeds, and there's certain things that are prepared in a certain way that are medicinal and good for us. Do you know what I mean? And it's like they've been disassociated because the fish and chips and the fish fingers are celebrating it and going sometimes too far. Like me, I overindulged, I think, because we wanted a fizzy drink in my house.
Yeah.
Do you remember those days? You lot don't know how good you got it or how bad you've got it, basically, right now. But coming up, we just had dilute drink in our house.
Yeah.
There was no such thing as fizzy drink was like a luxury. It was like freaking Cristal to me when I was a kid, bro.
It was the parties, and when you go to parties, you take home all the cans.
Yeah.
Nigerian parties, you take home as much drink as you can.
You OD on the stuff. OD on the stuff. What coming up with your brothers, have you got any what's the word? You know, like, it's not anecdotes, you know, like things you remember that you and your brothers got into, like fun things, bad things, whatever. Just tell me some stories about you and your brothers.
Well, my older brothers were like 5-6 years older than me, so there was like a disconnect anyway, because they were like, when we were 6-7 years old, now they're teenagers.
Okay, yeah.
They want to do teenager things.
Get away from me, like,
you know. And then it's funny because when we were younger, it's weird. When we were younger, there was a stage when, like, my younger brother, who's 1 year younger than me,
Peter.
Peter. Cool. And then my older brothers, they're like 11 months apart as well. So there was a stage when I was sharing a room with one of my older brothers, Peter was sharing a room with the other older brother, right? So when we were growing up, it was kind of like there was a closeness because of those things there. You know?
With the person you're sharing a room with?
Yeah, because, you know, I was like sharing a room for some reason. I can't remember why it happened or how long it was for, but for some reason I remember sharing a room with my older brother at one stage, and Peter shared a room with my other older brother. Yeah. And then suddenly as they're getting older a little bit, then it was like, okay, cool. Maybe my mom's doing it. Maybe my mom's doing it as protection, you know, with being the young babies, one of the older children should be in a room with them. Maybe that's probably the reason as to why she's doing it.
Maybe she's put it because if she put the two young ones together, you'd have messed some stuff up. Like, those two youngsters would have got mischievous. Do you know what I mean? Maybe that's the bit of that one. Maybe.
But then at some stage it changed. Then my older brothers were sharing a room. Then me and Peter were sharing a room. Then there started being a disconnect because, you know, one of the mistakes, she didn't do it on purpose. One of the mistakes which my mum did, which I was like, yeah, I'll never do, is as they started getting older, especially, and we started getting older, she was like, okay, cool, you know, they need their own spaces. So, you know, put a TV in their room, put a TV in our room, right? But that kind of broke a connection between me and my older brothers because it meant now there was no reason for them to have to be in our lives.
Yeah, you wasn't together.
We weren't together, you know.
TV shows together, you never spent it,
They're in their own rooms doing what they're doing. They're hanging with each other. Me and Peter hanging with each other. And I always look back and say, I wish actually my mum would not have given that to us and would have just left the TV in the living room. You know, we all have to share. You have to fight over it. Yep, we'll get bullied by the older brothers because what they want to watch, we have to watch.
Control,
all that kind of stuff there. But it would have still kept a connection. And I remember from young saying, you know, when I have children, I'm not going to, until there's the age where it's kind of like, you know, they're big people now, you know, if they're still in the house, then you kind of give them their own space. But as children, I'm just like, nah, I will not give them that kind of stuff in their own room ever, you know.
What do you think about the disconnect that there is now that's grown over these years? We've both seen it as we've come up. As we've been adults, we've seen the disconnect from the TVs in every room to the computer to the I want to eat my dinner in my bedroom to the now the mobile phones at the dinner table. Like, yeah, what's your opinion on that?
I think it's bad. I think it's, you know, it is creating literally a disconnect in families and things like that. And I'm trying to make an effort to not have that in my house. And my wife is quite very traditional, so she's more, you could say pushy, or more kind of like, she's more on that than me. She's so kind of on like the idea of, you know, eating around the table with each other and, you know, quality time with each other. She's so much on that. So, you know, and I'm on it mentally as well. So it's good, you know. So I really feel that, you know, the families I've seen growing up as well, which like have good relationships now when they're older as well, they did those type of things there. Yeah, that was their foundation.
Yeah, I mean, for me, as we're talking now, slightly, it's just like, and I love talking to people. I like talking to intelligent people as well. I think you're highly intelligent. Let's let you know.
Thanks.
Yeah, I'm just letting you know. It's these things now would, I believe, as it's coming an epiphany, help prevent a lot of this mental health that we're having with a lot of the teenagers and a lot of the young people and even adults as well. Yeah. Having that connection where you sit around a table and you can actually possibly see that there's something wrong with someone you love, and you can ask them or challenge it, or they can vocalize, or they feel that support from you around you. They know that they're going to come and sit around the table with their people that is family, irrespective of whether you work here, you work there. At a designated time in the day, you sit down, phones are away, and even if you're sitting and listening about my boring day, we're still connecting. I think that is one of the things that's damaging us right now. I think that's one of the things that we could do for our families, everyone at home, for your families, your people you love. Sit around, put the phones away for a minute and talk and engage. Or just listen and engage, or just eat and be quiet. But have that on a regular basis. I think that will help mental health, basically. And everyone's talking about mental health these days. But how can you notice anything if you're not looking, or if you're not spending time, if there's a disconnect? Thank you for that, mate. Serious. So, would you have it any other way? You got 4 brothers. How would you, it made you the man you are today?
Yeah, well, there's 4 of us.
Sorry, you got 3 brothers.
3 brothers. No, I loved it. I loved it. Just the little regrets of the TVs in our room is just a thing which, but you learn from these things and you understand. So now, not only would I not put a TV in, let's say, my children's room as they're even getting older, but I know why I'm not doing it as well. And that's the lesson. There's a reason behind it. And now even I talk to people about it as well. So now I can actually tell people there's a good reason as to why you shouldn't create that disconnect in your family. It's not just kind of like you just don't want your children to have a TV.
Old school, because I can't even say it. Why not? Because I said so.
Yeah, because I said so. There's a reason.
No explanation. Remember hearing that.
Now there's a reason, and I think that's the kind of changes in society now, from especially West African children especially, we've grown up with, just do as I say. And there's no explanation behind it, so you do it because you have to out of fear, but then as soon as you get the chance to revert out of that, you just come out of it and do what you want to do. But now, I've got a reason as to why I would do it. I've got a reason as to explain to my children as to the reason why I'd say you can't have this in your room. It's because of this reason and because of that. And I say, look what happened with my brothers. As we got older, we just slowly kind of drifted apart from each other because, if you don't talk, if you don't engage, that's just what happens in life.
Definitely. Where can we go there? No, we're gonna go to the hair.
Okay.
Let's go to the hair because I've got a lot of different questions I want to ask. I'm not asking about hair, family, I'm not asking about church, I'm not asking about a lot of different things. Hopefully we can cram everything in. If not, we're gonna reel you in again.
Part 2.
Part 2, that's what I'm saying. You can ask whatever you want, buddy.
What were your hobbies before you sort of got into hair? What kind of things did you? Was you into football or sports or anything? Before the hair.
Before hair. Well, hair for me actually started when I was around 13, 14. That's when I started cutting hair. I started, cutting my own hair. Just because my mom couldn't afford to send us to the barbershop, so we were getting home haircuts. The haircuts weren't good.
How you going to tell me at 30 you start cutting your own hair? You got that? I've seen you cut your own hair as well, This guy's a G, Like you can't afford it. Okay, mum, no way. That's I think the word when I say advantageous, the tenacity and the strength in that. Slightly, can you not see how strong you are?
I don't know.
My goodness gracious me. Go on, Slider. Go.
So I started cutting hair then because I was cutting my own hair. And then, doing it, bad haircut, still couldn't afford to go to the barbershop still. Next haircut, cut myself again. Next haircut, cut myself again. Then I slowly just started getting better. Then my little cousin from Nigeria started living with me. For those Nigerians, everyone knows when you grow up, you just always have people living with you. Family. My little cousin.
We work together.
Yes. So my little cousin started living with me. Then it was like, his mum was like, Junior needs a haircut. Where does he go to get a haircut? I said, I'll do it, because I was enjoying it. So I was like, now I get to cut someone else's hair.
Practice,
So then slowly I was just getting better. Then slowly people in my area started getting haircuts from me when they couldn't get to the barbershop. People were like, go to Mark's house or Slider's house, because Slider was my nickname. Go to Slider's house, he'll give you a shape up, So I was just gradually doing that. And that was kind of like, you could say, a hobby that I was doing. But alongside that, the things which I actually wanted to do in life, because this wasn't a career path for me, cutting hair. It was just something I was just doing. What I actually wanted to do at that time was I wanted to be an actor. Because, when I was, that same time which I talked about opening up the factory.
The money thing.
I was the money thing. I was like, at first I was like, oh, money, you get paid that much for acting. I was like, I want to be an actor. Then, my mum, when I was like 10, rounded up some money from where I don't know. And she got me into Sylvia Young.
Oh, wow.
So I was going to Sylvia Young. I don't know where she got the money from. I know she was always late with the payments. That I know. But, she struggled.
God bless her
She got
mum,
me to
man.
Sylvia Young.
God bless her mum, man.
Then I remember we moved. Then we moved to, I guess, to where we live in, I guess now, well, no, back then, which was in like Kentish Town. And then when I was 13 again, she started running that money again to send me to Sylvia Young again for a period of time. And, I said she was always late with the payments, but she was, trying, because it's not cheap. So I go down Saturday afternoons, do a lesson there. So I wanted to be an actor. I wanted to perform, long and short of it. I wanted to do something along performing. That was like the thing I wanted to do in life. I was acting in school. In college, I went and did performing arts. I was doing dance classes. I did vocal classes. I did the Sylvia Young and so on. So the thing at that in my life, I was MCing at from about, 15. But back then, everyone was an MC or DJ,
I remember those days.
If you weren't an MC or DJ, it just meant you were on the roads. But basically,
you were MC or DJ and on the roads.
Yeah, or on the roads as well, right? So, but everybody was an MC or DJ, right? And so I was an MC. So I just wanted to perform, in some way or form, whether I was dancing, singing, MCing, acting, I wanted just to perform. So that was the thing I was kind of pursuing up until I was about 18 when I finished college. And at this time, I just got a job in D&L's a year before.
18, okay.
Yeah, so 18, I got a job in D&L's.
Who hired you?
Biggie and Damon, between the two of them. Because basically what happened was, my brother Peter was going there to get his haircut. I was still cutting my own hair.
Yeah.
And Peter said to me, "Oh, you're better than one of the barbers in D&L's."
Wow.
So because I was good friends with Nigel, who used to live across the road from the D&L's. Yeah. So one day I was literally, and because I used to go in and out of D&L's anyway, even though I didn't get a haircut.
Sorry, the reason I'm laughing, sorry, it's like that. Like the amount of bunch haircuts people have had.
Yeah.
They just get, they come out and they just look funny, like they just hit me. Sorry, go on.
Yeah.
You said Nigel, I think it was last
So I was
night.
at Nigel's house one day, right? And because at this point, from when I was 14, I used to pass by D&L's anyway, because I used to chill in there with Nigel. Because Nigel's older brother used to work in there, which is Charles.
Okay.
So me and Nigel would just sit there. But Nigel just sitting there chilling. I'm sitting there chilling. But I used to watch them cutting hair.
Yeah.
I used to ask them questions.
Yeah.
They didn't even realize I was asking for myself. I'd be like, "Oh, why are you holding the clipper like that? Oh, why are you doing that? What are you doing?" I remember asking Wesley, who used to work there, asking him, what are you doing? Like, why are you doing
I
that?
don't remember Wesley.
Wesley, the wedge one. Wesley.
I don't remember Wesley, man.
Wesley's massive. He's wedge now. He does all the bodybuilding.
Oh, did Wesley used to work there?
Yeah, Big Wes, yeah.
Who the hell is this? I don't know who this is.
Wes, he used to be really skinny, like ripped up.
You don't feel, but I know him obviously.
I think he's done security. He's done wrestling. He used to be
wrestling?
He used to be super slim.
Yeah.
And now he's just massive.
You got a picture of him? We're digressing.
Yeah.
Now, anyway, go on.
I used to call him DMX because I remember. Yeah.
So must know, we'll figure that out.
You hunch no Wesley. And I remember
Wesley the wrestler.
Yeah, he used to be a wrestler at some point. So I remember because we used to chill on the bench next to him, and he was at the end. We were just asking questions like, "What are you doing that for?" And I just be studying them and taking those tips home, and then use it on myself or use it on my cousin at the same time. So when I got to about 18 and I'm cutting people around my area and I got a bit of a client list, my brother said I'm better than one of the barbers in there. So I saw Damon outside Nigel's house, and as a joke, I just said to Damon, I'm better than one of your barbers. Just as a joke. I was saying it as a joke. And he's like, all right, cool, come take his place then.
Yeah. You know what? Yeah. I have to pick up both you and Damon. Yeah. That's exactly how Damon is as well. He's just cool and matter of fact like that. He's like, well, come and take
his place. I was like, all right.
That was a good fucking impression, That was a good impression.
I was like, all right. I was joking, I thought, right, I'm joking. He's like, no, come on. He's like, well, no. Come and take his place, innit?
Yeah,
I was like, no. I was joking. Then,
he's like, no, come on.
Yeah. Then every time he saw me,
that is Damon for real as well, Go on.
Then every time he saw me, just on the street, wherever, just outside D&L's or with Nigel, every time he saw me, he's like, okay, so when you coming to work here then? When you come to work here?
Yeah.
I was like, and I wanted to come and work there, but my fear was, whoa, I'm not good enough to work in a barbershop. And if I go work in a barbershop and I mess up someone's hair, I'm like, right, that's going to be like an issue. So I was like, nah. Then one day I was in there chilling again with Nigel, and it was Damon, I think he's cutting someone's hair, and Biggie was there, and Damon was like to Biggie, this boy, I'm trying to get him to come and work here. This is months later after that initial conversation. I'm trying to get him to come and work here, but he's just constantly like, he's just trying to, be silly, walk up and down the streets. He doesn't want to work here. I'm trying to get him to work here. I wasn't walking up and down the street. I was in college at the time. I was just about to get a job.
Listen, he was shaking your case to get a rise out. You rose. Look at your face, David.
and then Biggie just like, you know what? Like, come here. Come here. Work on Sunday. Don't let me hear you're not here. Come and work here. I was like, cool. See, the thing was, it wasn't actually the pressure he was putting on. My fear was that I was going to mess someone's hair up. So my thing was, okay, these guys are putting enough pressure onto me. So now, if anything goes wrong with a client, they can't blame me.
You blame on them, yeah.
You guys keep asking me to come here. It's your fault. Because that was my main thing. It's your fault, And then I started working there.
Oh, I love it.
Then I started working there in and around college. And then when I finished college, I was like, I don't think I want to pursue acting like that anymore. And I said, you know, I'll rather just maybe go join a theatre school instead and do it instead of going to university. Because I thought studying, you know, acting in university for me didn't make sense. I thought it'd be better for me to be in a theatre school.
Okay.
So I said, like, because I thought you're going to pay all this money to go to university to, and this is not where you're going to even probably, you might not build up the connections here, and you're not guaranteed to actually succeed because you went to university in acting. So I was just like, you know, maybe at best I join a theatre school. I'll carry on working full time, do the theatre school. At that time there, I was working in DNLs. I was doing a bit of acting. I was in dance classes twice a week. I was in vocal classes 3 times a week. So it's like I'd go from work straight to every day. It's like, you know, Monday to Friday, it was something else I was doing, you know. Then I was just like, okay, this is better for me.
More productive,
you know, for me.
You can dance.
Not really, well, a little bit.
What kind of dance did you start?
Oh no, it's just street dance.
Like body popping, break dancing, that
A bit of body popping, but more like just street dance, just putting routines together. Well, not me putting routines together, but, you know, following routines and so on.
Okay.
You know, so that was basically it. I was just doing all those things there at the same time.
Did you ever perform?
Yeah, little performances, but, you know, like youth club type performances. You know, like back in the days, especially, I guess people now won't know.
It would be like big stage performances to us when we're young. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, they were massive.
They're massive, like you said.
Yeah, and none of these guys have this anymore because they don't have the youth clubs or anything like that. You know, but when you're part of youth club and there was anything performance-wise in the youth club, you'd always, whether you're rapping, you're singing, you're MCing, you're dancing, whatever it was, right? You always end up performing, whether it's to the youth club or they're like, oh, we're going to do this show over here or over there.
Yeah, I remember them days. Yeah.
But now they don't have those things there anymore, you know, because they shut down all the youth clubs.
Yeah.
But so I was just doing all of those things there, and, you know, I was cutting hair, but I made a promise to myself. When I left college, I said, I'm going to cut hair for the moment, but when I figure out the thing which I actually want to do, the promise is I'm going to stop cutting hair if I need to and go back to do that. So then a few years later, I remember saying, okay, I want to be a social worker. So I started doing evening courses, you know, 3 days a week. Then I realized after doing that for a year, I didn't want to be a social worker. Then the job was just harder and a lot more than I thought it was. It's a great job, but especially when I was getting into it as well, it was just after the baby P situation happened, which was, you know, and
controversial.
Yeah, and it's just kind of like they were asking a lot more from social workers then. So, and then it was kind of like you had to document everything, and it almost felt like you were almost guilty of something you hadn't done yet. So they were making everyone be like, okay, every single time you meet someone, you have to write a report. Every time you do something, you have to write a report. It was almost like you had to cover your back so much. It's like, this is just so much writing. I've written a book. I hate writing, you know, and I just thought this job actually has more writing in it than anything else because you have to cover everything you're doing, every step, every logging it all because, you know, I was just like, right, this is a hard job. And then also
every freaking second.
Yeah. And even the job itself was hard. I was like, right, these guys are taking on a lot. You know, people hate social workers when they're visiting you, but, you know, their jobs are hard, the things they have to see. You know, if they let something slip because they're giving you an opportunity and then let's say something happens to a child, that's on their conscience for the rest of their life because they thought, oh, you know what? I see you're trying to make a change. You know what? I'm going to let this slide and then something happens.
Yeah, it's on you. You can't do none of that in that profession.
Or then you take someone's child away from them and then suddenly you're looking at their parents crying and then that's on you because you're feeling like, did I make the right decision? Should I have done that? Is that good for the child? It's just a lot, you know, it's a hard job, you know. And so I didn't pursue that. Then I was like, you know, okay, maybe I might be a personal trainer. So I did that as well.
Let's put a pin in that. So to all you social workers that are doing a good job, thank you for helping all the families out there, man, because we know it's a hard job to do. Thank you. And don't be scared of doing your job as well. And to families giving social workers a hard time, please try not to because they're there to help you.
Yes.
That's it. God bless you. Go on.
Yeah. Then, you know, I said, you know, let me think about being a personal trainer. I did another evening course for a year in the evening. So basically, I was always occupied. So even when I was working at DNLs, I was still doing other stuff. You know, after work, I was always doing something. But then when I got to about 20, I started working in DNLs at 18. I got to about 23, 24. I remember being like, actually, I think barbering is the thing that I'm actually just going to stick at. You know, I've done a few different things and I think this is...
Wait. You said you got to 23. You looked at your bank balance. You looked at the money that was coming in. You looked at right.
It wasn't. To be fair, it wasn't. To be honest, there wasn't even that much money coming in because haircuts back then, especially, weren't a lot of money.
What's not a lot of money?
£7 for a haircut.
How long does it take to cut hair?
Back then, just call it, depending on the haircut, call it 20 minutes, half an hour.
20 minutes, half an hour. So £7 haircut, 20 minutes, half an hour. Yeah. If it's half an hour, that's £14 an hour.
Yeah.
Right. That's back then.
Yeah.
Like £14 an hour now is considered okay for certain people's jobs. So back then, £40, that's good money, bro, for a 23-year-old.
Yeah, if you're working hard, and if you're heavily booked up and
you weren't heavily booked up. You're a G. Look at your name. Your name's in fucking lights, cuz, for fuck's sake. Come on, it's on your chest. Can you tell the show the guest that, please? Slide a cat. Ow. Come on.
But no, I'm saying it wasn't I was making bad money. I was happy with the money I was making. But I didn't stick at it for the money.
Yeah.
Because even at that time, personal training would have made me more money.
Because your brother's a personal trainer, isn't he?
My brother's a personal trainer. He was oversubscribed with clients as well. So, personal trainer would have made me more money. Social work would have been more fulfilling, for what I was doing. So yes, it was kind of like, I just actually looked at these different things and said, actually, you know what? Barbering actually is the thing I'm actually going to continue and just pursue. I'm actually happy. I stuck to my promise. I'd done the other things which I said I'd do. Things I was interested in. I'd done all those things there, and I realized actually barbering is the thing. And I was fortunate because I always took barbering serious. That even when I made that decision to say actually I'm going to be a barber, 23, 24, whenever it was, I didn't have to now fix up and being like, okay, let me start working properly, because I was always working properly. I was always working hard. I was always studying it. I was always learning. I was always there.
What was the first time? I remember seeing you cut your hair in the barbers. I was like, for fuck's sake, what's going on over here, man? And I'm saying, when you cut your hair, I'm saying, my man's fading himself. Like, not doing a bald head. My man's fading it. Look, do you cut your hair yourself, right?
Yeah.
Can we just take a close-up on this guy's hairline and everything? Because I'm seeing it. And can you just turn your head around? Can you just turn your head, please? So he said he's not even a haircut. Look at that. And you did that yourself.
Yeah, I just quickly gave myself a little shape up before I came here.
Quickly shape it. Imagine, bruv. So when you first did it in the barbers, you did it good. Was people like, wow, damn? Or what was the response? Because obviously, when Damon, the other barbers, is quiet and all that. But when people saw, because you cut and give yourself a full fade without asking no one, come over here, do the back or do this, do that. That's a serious skill, bro.
I guess I was doing it from young, so just the thing. And also, the other barbers used to cut their own hair. Frankie, when he was working there, was cutting his own hair. Damon used to cut his own hair. Damon never used to cut his hair often. Yeah. He's got dreads now.
Yeah, that's why he's just fucking...
But back then he had an afro and he used to get a taper fade. So every now and then he'd cut his own hair as well. So it was like, not only was I doing it, it was the culture of the shop anyway.
That shop,
Everyone was cutting their own hair. Frankie was giving himself skin fades. Damon was giving himself taper fades.
Yeah. Okay.
Do you have any horror stories in your early days, like when you was young, sort of being a nervous barber? Maybe you...
What, with customers or with me? I got both. I messed myself up loads of time. Like my haircuts, initially loads of time. Loads. I used to get dissed for my haircuts. Who cut your hair? I remember pulling my hairline back, and this is not even a joke. This is real. And I remember pulling my hairline back. I remember. And this is not even an exaggeration.
It's a look like this. No, side line. Look like this.
No, listen, I pulled my hairline back this side line. I pulled it back here, and I remember.
Whoa!
And the reason why I remember it and why I'm not exaggerating, because it was in line with my ear, and that's the reason why I remember it. It's because it kept going wrong, and also people don't realize, right? When we were younger, right, now with barber tools, they have all these different tools, the smaller trimmers that you can shape yourself up with. But back then, there was only one clipper. The big clipper you used for everything, and it's on a wire as well. So you used it for everything. You cut with it, you shaped up with it. That's why I tell younger people now, when someone gets a little cut right now, it's a massive thing. Oh, you cut me. And I said, when you were younger, getting cut in the barbershop was just a standard.
Yeah.
You came out with cuts.
That was crazy. Inside your face, when it was shaping you up and stuff.
Yeah,
right?
Or you got burn marks because they're using that same clipper for everything. You come up with burn. That was the standard, right? So remember, when I'm cutting myself, right, and I got this big clipper in front of my eye and I'm trying to shape myself up, and I go, right, didn't see it's gone back. Then I try to balance it up on one side, balance the other side, and then it came there, it was here, right? But it was sharp. Well, I remember it was sharp. So it came here, and I remember took the back there, and it came in. I remember it was sharp, right? And I don't know why. If it was the days of camera phones, I'd have a picture. I don't know why I did that, and I walked out of it. And I remember people looking at me, being like, "Oh, yeah, your hair is sharp," But they would just look at it. They were just like, "This is weird. Like, why is your hairline so far back?" But so yes, I had all those kind of stories then. And then the same thing with clients. You cut clients. You do bad jobs. You mess some up. Some get angry. Step out the chair. The other barber has to fix it up, or. Yeah, man, it happens,
Okay, horror stories is in nastiness, because I've seen some people cut other people's hair, and the things I've seen in their head, I'm like, you ain't cutting my hair with them clippers after that. I'm never wanting to come into you after you cut that person's hair. I'll tell you what. Yeah, horror story. What's the worst thing you've seen in someone's head?
The worst.
Wait. All right, go on.
I think the worst situation I've had with cutting a client was this client I used to cut. You actually know him, actually, funny enough.
Yeah, you gonna mention him?
I won't mention his name because
Alright,
you know him.
Alright.
You know him from back in the days because you used to see him in a barbershop and used to say he was he wasn't even homeless. I think he had mental health issues or he's an alcoholic. And he used to just chill on the streets all day. And he used to live in Eltham. And I think you know him from, what's good, your Holloway Highbury?
I went Isn't Green.
Okay.
But I know everyone.
Yes.
Like, I was about, even though I knew I lived near Holloway.
Yeah.
My house was right next door to Holloway School.
Yeah.
And then Highbury Grove, I had to go past it to and fro to come back from school. And then, but we just, you know, like we used to move around. I used to be a street urchin.
Yes, I think you know him. He's not like he's just like this street guy, but he's just this guy from school that, you know.
What's his name?
I don't put his name out there.
It's all right.
Yeah, I don't put his name out there. But he just used to come out and just sit on the street the whole day. But then people who
You can tell me off camera though, because I want to fucking know who the fuck this is now.
But then people used to see him in the barbershop, right? And be like, I remember that guy. And what they used to always say about him was, he was always fresh. So what was funny is he's now having mental health issues. He's now alcoholic. He has a house. He comes out of his house.
Or this is then.
This was then, right?
Yeah.
He has a house. He comes out of his house and goes and just sits on the street, whether it's raining or whatever it is. He doesn't shower, doesn't brush his teeth, doesn't change his clothes, nothing. He just chills there, right? But the thing that almost still connects him to his old self was a haircut. So he'd still come and get a haircut, but when he came into the shop would stink because whether you have like
body odor.
not only body odor, your clothes stink.
damp,
They're ripped. He started catching infections in his hair because then it'd just be like these bulb, just all these type of things there, right? And nobody wanted to cut him. But my thing was, you know, and I cut his hair, so I cut his hair and gave him a good haircut. And he, like this, no joke, he was so out of it, right? But he still knew what a good haircut looked like. The only thing, same thing he had about him was he remembered what a good haircut looked like, and that's what the older people, because he's older than me, so he's probably about. Now I'm 37, so he'd be about 42, maybe something like that, 43, something like that. I don't know, right? So people would be like, used to be back in the days. He used to be fresh, you know, and you know, he always have a haircut, and that's the thing he kept on coming back for, a haircut. So I remember just cutting his hair and just being like, you know, it's almost like he smells. Everyone's just like annoyed, and you know, he's in a shop, you know. I'd say to him, you know, if he wants to, you know, it's a long wait, you know, you can wait, you know, outside. You can come back at this time, you know, just try to.
Easy out,
Easy out, right? But I'll be cutting his hair, right? And I used to have to cut his hair, like almost not touching him. So I'm cutting his hair, but I make sure, you know, I'm not putting my hands on him because it's kind of like you haven't showered, you haven't cleaned, and then you've got even infections I can see in your hair and things like that. But I was just like, you know, and this is down to me just being a Christian. I just kind of like, you know, we'll treat everyone with respect. So no one else will cut his hair. That's fine. But, you know, but treat everybody with respect. So I'll be the one who cuts his hair. Then, you know, and I will give him, you know, that service like I'm going to cut anyone else's hair, you know, and give you a good haircut, you know, and just treat you with that respect because you're still a human being and you're in my chair. You know, so yeah, that was the person, every time I cut him, it was kind of like, oh, okay. And I'll be like shallow breathing as well, you know, because, you know, it's just like, you know, just not trying to be like, just shallow breathing while cutting his hair.
He done well, man.
You know,
he done well, man.
Yeah, but everyone seemed to know who he was. He wasn't like a popular guy, but people just, oh, I remember that guy. Oh, that's that guy. Blah blah blah. Isn't that him? For you to go, I think he went Holloway School.
Holloway School.
I think he went Holloway School.
Cool. Probably that. If he's that much older than you, he's more closer to my age anyway.
Yeah.
So he's probably still even younger than me. So I would know him, innit? I
Yeah.
definitely would know him. God bless him, man. God bless you for what you did for him as well, man. What about a high note? What about your high notes of cutting hair? You know, like I know we're gonna get into celebrity hairs as well if you want to talk about it as well. But what's your high note of cutting hair when you was young? You know, like okay, you see, like him saying, him knowing he had a good haircut.
Yeah.
For me, a high note would be like not only your customer knowing you had a good haircut, but the barbers around you knowing, and even the people in the shop, because barber shops were different back in the day. I don't think they're the same as they were back in the day.
Yeah, they're not the same.
Because there's a lot of politics now.
Yeah.
But yeah, back in the day, you could get cast in the barbershop. You could sit there for hours in the barbershop.
Yeah.
You could be made a superstar in the barbershop. Do you know what I mean? It was a therapy couch for the neighborhood.
Yeah.
For the area. Do you know what I mean? Go ahead. So was there any time when there was like, slide the oh damn that cut, wow, shit.
Definitely, yeah. I remember one time that this guy, you probably even know who he is as well. I don't remember his name, but you definitely know who he is. He's just some guy from just around Holloway. I remember I cut his hair. I was a younger barber then as well, and I gave him a haircut. I still remember it was like a taper fade, right? and everyone in the shop was like, Damon, everyone else who was working was kind of like, they were like, that haircut, that's like haircut of the week. Haircut of the week.
Wow.
They're like haircut of the week. And I still remember it.
Was you like,
I was like, yeah, I spent time on it. I spent time on it as well. I got into the haircut. I really spent time on it as well. And, I was like, yeah, I remember them saying, haircut of the week. That's definitely haircut of the week. I remember that being a high moment for me, just getting that information from the older barbers.
Yeah. Nice.
Was you a pattern kind of guy as well? Was you like an art?
No, I never did patterns because when I got into barbering, patterns were going out of fashion.
Oh, okay.
So not many people were coming in for patterns anymore, except for the Asian boys. The Asian boys were still getting patterns, right? And they had their barbers, Frankie, Damon. That's who they used to go to. But I always wanted to do patterns, but then it was like, no one wants patterns. As to why even now, I practice doing patterns. I just give free haircuts out. So I just tell people, sometimes you put on my Instagram, I'm like, I was going to do it this week as well. Say, if you want a pattern, if you're willing to get a pattern, it'll be free. I just come in the morning, early in the morning, and I just do it just because it's something which is enjoyable and I just always want to kind of stretch what I'm doing.
I'm coming for a pattern next year. Putting it out there, I'm going to come for a pattern next year. I'm going to come maybe January, February for my birthday. I'll just make sure it's all one level all over. I'll let you know you could do whatever you want today, because then I could just shave it bald if I don't think.
Yeah, I guess
but
so.
I remember back in the day, seeing people with patches in the hair thinking, raw, that looks cold. Everything, seashore and sun, and a woman laying on the beach. But the patterns were elaborate back in the day.
Yeah, definitely.
And just look at it like, wow. But then when it grows out, it doesn't look so good.
No, and it doesn't last that long.
Doesn't last long, yeah.
Yeah, you got a few days.
When it's fresh, it's only when it's fresh. What's the most money you ever been paid for a haircut?
£5,000.
$5,000 for a haircut? One haircut?
Yeah, but it's I didn't get paid that much for the haircut. The guy just gave me that much for the haircut because he wasn't being charged that much. He didn't get charged that much for a haircut, but we were just talking and he was just like, we were just talking about things I was doing, and it just went, especially starting up Slider Cut Studios, it was just like, the things which are going out, and we're just talking about business, and he's very, 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 very successful, and he was just kind of like, do you know what, for this haircut, invoice £5,000. I was like, what? No, he said invoice, 5K. I said, maybe he's mistaken. Maybe he doesn't. Maybe he doesn't.
You're right.
Maybe he just means 500. Yeah. So I was like, I was messaging him back after the haircut. When he gone, I said, oh, you mean 500? And he was like, no, like 5,000. I was like, wow, okay, thanks. Like I was like, I really appreciate that and stuff like that. So I got paid that much for the haircut, but I can't say it was for the haircut.
Yeah.
It was, he was just seeing what was happening with me, and he was just kind of like, I'm just basically just helping out. So he didn't pay me 5,000 for the haircut, but
you got to understand, yeah, your barber, if it's your consistent barber, is your counsellor as well. It's your brother, it's your confidant. You say things in that chair. They've recently started doing this mental health thing with barbers and stuff. Yeah. Even the people that be there realising stuff that we've known for years.
Yeah.
Like your barber is the person who helps you through stuff. Irrespective of whether you've got the money to give it to them, I've sat in chairs and been a mess.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because of my life.
Yeah.
And just been talk to Damon, because Damon barber at the moment. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Damon knows things about me that no one else fucking knows. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And like, he could ask me anything in the world. I don't care. There's that. Remember that the disconnect you said there was between you and your brother and stuff. Yeah. If there's a disconnect when certain things happen, there's definitely a connect when you cut someone's hair and you sit in a chair and you do it on a consistent basis. Yeah. There's got to be a trust. This is where my brain is. I don't want any and anybody messing around with my head.
Definitely.
You don't understand people at home. I understand that's what it is. Mine who touches your body, it's an energy thing.
Yeah.
So when someone like you that is undisputably blessed, who has an aura around them, who conducts themselves in a certain way, does certain things, and I've got the revenue to do that, it makes sense. Yeah. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's not just the haircut, it's the whole entity who Slider is, what you represent to talking to him, the influence you had on his life. Do you know what I mean? It would be the haircut, because the haircut is the basis thing. It's all of that, do you know what I mean? Yeah. But that's the seed where it grew from, do you know what I mean?
That's why I say it wasn't like he didn't pay me like just for the haircut. He was gifting me. He was blessing me.
Yeah. Because you're blessing him. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but that was the most. You say I've been paid for a haircut. Even though I think it was more than a haircut. He blessed me. He just gifted me. That.
Did you I know you said, you sure 500, not 500?
Yeah.
So after you got, when you actually got the money, did you smile? Did you giggle? You like, Ross? Like, was it, like a celebration?
I just waited, I invoiced and then it came, I can't remember when, a few weeks later or whatever it was. It's kind of like, the thing is, in a situation which I was in, it wasn't even, the money was gone straight away because, in setting up a business.
But it helped. It must have helped.
It helped. It was at a time when it's like, right, this actually helped because I remember, something happened. I was talking to my PA about it and something happened and I was like, yeah, they said this money came in right time, it came in, it went, but it was definitely needed. I can't remember what it was, but it was just like, right, that was definitely needed at this very moment.
Yeah. It's godsend.
Yeah.
Godsend, mate. Godsend. Where we got. Okay, is there anything you want to talk about? Specifically, because we've still got time. I want to make sure we don't miss anything for you to talk about. But I think we're gonna have to do that.
Yeah, I don't mind. Talk about whatever you want. It's fine.
Cool. No. When I say is there anything you want to talk about, I mean, is there any points that you particularly want to talk about? Not there is anything you don't want to talk about. You do want to talk about, but anything you want to bring to the forefront, like that you've got in your mind. I want to talk to you about culture. I want to talk to you about some other stuff. I've got my own little notes.
Yeah, we'll go through that.
All right, cool. We'll go through my notes then. Lockdown.
Yeah.
How did that affect your business? How was it for you during the lockdown time? I know people were doing some like under the table stuff and all that other stuff. And then did you change your prices? How did you work through lockdown? Did you work through lockdown?
Well, no, we were closed. So, but I was fortunate.
Excuse me.
I was fortunate. Well, I was fortunate anyway, generally. But then when lockdown happened and the shop closed down, I just put my energy and time into focusing on what can I do to get money in. So you're looking at different grants. You're looking at, different things, releases you can get from, paying this or paying that. Things like, the council will be like, okay, we're giving businesses this much money and all these type of things there. And I remember talking about it online because so much people, barbers especially, were saying, we just have to close down. I was just like, wait, no. You don't need to close down. Just, first of all, my thing was this as well. Even if I can't pay any of the bills, what's the landlord going to do? Kick me out? Who else are they going to get in right now? So they're not going to kick me out anyway, even though I did actually find the money to pay them while I was in lockdown. Then, got bounce back loans, took out as much as I could in the bounce back loans and that helped me pay my rent while I wasn't in the shop and my bills while I wasn't in the shop and things like that and some of, home life a little bit. So I was fortunate. And then also I was very blessed and fortunate because my wife was able to work throughout lockdown because she's an artist. So she was just painting, at home, just one of the rooms painting, at home. And then at one stage, I think then she started going to her studio when things eased up a little bit, but because she's in her studio by herself. So then she was working like that. And then what happened was she was painting and I was just filming her. And I was filming her stuff and I was putting it on her Instagram. And then, there were some people who bought some of those paintings that she was painting.
Nice.
So in lockdown, I was fortunate because I was able to get through, one, because of all the releases, the grants, the bounce back loan and so on. And then also the little that came in as well from my wife's work. Because she was painting stuff and people asked to buy it before it was even completed.
So what kind of prices were you selling paintings for?
She was selling...
Good money?
It depends what people class as good money. But But I remember that some of the paintings are going for like, I don't know, £4,000, £5,000. But then someone sold it on her behalf, so they take 50% of the money.
Wow.
Yeah, so they take 50% of the money,
that's a lot, isn't it?
That's the art industry, so...
Is that it goes down? I didn't know it went down like that.
If you got a gallerist, they take 50%.
50%?
Because you do the work, but then they get you all your sales, they do everything else. And then you could have a bunch of work that doesn't sell. So it's kind of like you got all this work which you value it at 1,000, 10,000, a million, whatever you want to value it at. But if it's still there, it's not selling. So you could have this thing that's worth as much as you want, but if it doesn't sell, or someone could come to you and say, I'll
take 50% then, mate. I'll take the 50.
Someone could say, okay, actually, I will, I can get this sold for you for £10,000, but I'm going to take £5,000 from it.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, well, £5,000 is more than zero. So she had a few paintings like that, which, sold. Then it's kind of like, and the money came in kind of straight away as well. So then it's like, okay, great, money's coming as well. So that's helped, with things. So, I was fortunate, Then I did a couple online things, which I made a little bit of money from, not crazy money, a few £100s, but,
Online things, what?
I was teaching people business online. you know, telling people to sign up to classes. It was like £25 per person. You'd be on a thing for like 2 hours, and I was just doing different subjects. I did a few of them, you know, get a few people on it. Some people,
You're serious, you are.
you know, just some,
Don't
you know,
walk about.
some had a few. Some people might have. Some of them didn't have that many people. Maybe I don't know, 5 people maybe. You know, some had like 10. A couple. So yeah, so I just tried everything, to be honest.
Nice. Life experiences.
There's loads. What
Life experiences. We have good life experience because you've been in a barbershop. Like you know where I'm from, innit?
Yep.
But you've been in a barbershop, you've seen most of the things, some of the things I've seen. There's things gone down in the barbershop because you're stationary. Like it's like one of them, you know them the time lapse videos.
Yeah.
Where you see an area and just see the day, the night, the day, the day. Because you're stationary, you will see everything that happens within that time lapse because you're in the barbershop.
Yeah.
So I could come past, it's like, hey, next minute, these gunshots and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? Like, do you remember when I lost my diamond bracelet?
Yes, in the old DNLs, yeah.
Fucking hell. Fucking. You know, someone nicked it.
You never found it?
I never found it, but I found out what happened to it.
Was it in the shop though, was it?
It wasn't in the shop, no.
Oh, okay.
It was a silly thing. I left it. You know when you wash up?
Yeah.
I washed up and left it somewhere, and then in my house though.
Yeah.
But then someone came to my house and stole it. Like someone cause it was a chick. Like one of my brothers' chicks stole it. Can you imagine? But yeah, easy come, easy go. God bless everybody. That's it.
Because you were running around the barber shop picking up chairs, angry.
Yeah, I was like, you already know what time it is. Like I was like, because I think what were we doing? We was ramping first. I think I was playing up the wall. I was doing something. And I was like, huh? Hold on a minute. I lost my goddamn mind. I remember I lost my mind, but that was just one incident I remember being part of in the barber shop.
Yeah.
But it was fun. You remember Dwayne Chambers racing and people stopping the traffic?
Yeah.
Who was he racing again?
I think it was racing
Jibril,
yeah.
Lights.
Yeah, Lights. It was racing Lights. But I wasn't working there. That's just before I started working there.
But was you there at the time?
I wasn't actually there, but I remember hearing the stories of being like, you know, they stopped traffic and
they stopped traffic, yeah.
You know, and then they're racing and then they're talking about, you know, put this money down. If I beat you, I can beat you and all that stuff there.
Yeah.
You know, yeah. So there's been all those things. That's literally just before I started working there, but I was still around there because, you know, I used to come and hang around the barbershop and just sit in the barbershop and just watch them cut hair. You know, so yes, I've seen loads of different things, arguments, you know, couple fights, not that many fights, you know. There actually hasn't been that. That's the thing people realize in DNLs, right? Even though it was in that area, there was rarely ever any fights, and I don't think that even the ones which you could class as fights weren't actually fights. There was just kind of like almost less than a scruffle that got to a place where it was about to be kind of like a fight, but then it just kind of got stopped.
You know why, don't it?
Yeah, I know why. You know, but there was never no fights in the shop. Yeah. There was nothing like that happened.
We got the man them.
You know, nothing like that happened in the shop. It was just arguments that looked like they were about to, you know, and then people standing up as example, and then that's about as far as it kind of went. You know, people stood up, and then, you know, or people might say, you know, well, come outside then, because people used to always have respect. So even if someone wanted to do something in the shop, it was always kind of like, I'm not going to do it in the shop, or you're lucky that we're in the shop. Yeah. So they'll be like, okay, do you know what?
Who runs the shop?
Well, you know what? Yeah. You know, come out the shop then instead. You know, so that was the thing. Yeah. So there were always a bunch of almost things. You know, that happened, but never really anything that happened.
Lucky, you're lucky you're in DNLs, you know. Yeah. You weren't in DNLs, you know what?
Yeah. You know, but things happen, I guess outside things have happened, but that's just random things. You're just seeing things outside happening, but nothing in the shop ever happened.
What about stars? Because I've bumped into people in there who were successful. Yeah. And I love that. I love the fact that bumping into people that are successful in the same place where I cut my hair. We're all human beings, you know what I mean? We're all human beings. I think you cut a lot of famous people's hair, as far as I know. So does Damon as well. Like, you cut a lot of famous people's hair or successful people's hair. I think there's a couple for me, but I remember my kids meeting AJ when you was cutting his hair. Yeah. My kids lost their fucking minds. They were so no, but it was good. It was nice, and the fact that it was a barbershop that their dad went and cut his hair, but it was the same. So I felt good about it also. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was like, Ross Clark, I'm a big guy, but my man's bigger than me.
Yeah.
God bless you, 8 years old. Big up your chest because you're large every time. He was shaking his hand. I was like, Ross Clark.
Yeah, he got big hands.
Right, no, I got big hands. He got massive hands. I'm like, Ross, getting thumped by him, boy. But yeah, I remember talking to Dizzy in there as well.
Yeah.
And him coming there on a regular basis, just seeing him seeing certain people on a regular basis, it was nice. It made it, for me, it's like it was just a nice hub to go to. And if certain man who's got money is going there as well, we're going there. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
it's like there's levels. There's levels to this shit.
Definitely.
It's when you lot started jumping ship and going and doing the personal ones. Like they will go and doing them in the hotels or the here.
Yeah.
So I was in the shop, we don't get to see you here. You guys. He just come back smiling with a fat ass pocket, you know what I'm saying? Or we couldn't get a haircut for 2 or 3 days because they was away. But I still respect that of you and Damon. I don't know about the other barbers, about how you managed to cement and secure a celebrity client base and maintain that, because it speaks to your level of expertise. It speaks to your level of dedication to what you do. Do you know what I'm saying? And the respect you get from these people, because if you've got money, you can't get anyone to do what you need to do. I know stories of people flying Damon out to go places. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that means you're good. If I don't want no one else but Slide. I don't want no one else but Damon. I don't care. They don't care, mate. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's good, man. I really kind of what's the word? Celebrate that.
Yeah.
I still celebrate. It's like I won't even start hotting up names, but you know, like when I phoned Damon to cut my hair, and he's like, "No, sorry, I've got to go to. Someone's flown me out. I've got to go to this hotel in Mayfair."
Yeah.
I'm pissed. Like, I want my hair cut, but I'm like, all right, cool, because my barber is cutting their hair. Like, my hair too shit. There's levels to this shit. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I know who I am. I know who you are. I know who he is. I know who you are. We're all superstars in our own right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But that levels up, like, even talking to you. I tell you what, phoning you, seeing you for a minute. Phoning you and ask you to come, knowing all the stuff you've done and everything. I know we're family and stuff. There's other people out there that I've known for years and stuff. I've phoned them. Some people ain't even moving. I'm not going to name no names. You know who you are. When you come around, I'll shake your hand, but you know what you've done. Anyway, and God bless you, you know? But there's nothing, you have to respect where you've come from, respect who you know. It's like, know who you are. Do you know what I'm saying? It's just like, so when I spoke to you, the way you spoke to me, I was elated. I was elated. I can't lie. Look how I hugged you when you come through the door. It was like one of your children. I went to put both my arms around you. Cause I haven't seen you so I missed you. You were, what's going on? But I didn't care. I was hugging like that. Do you know what I mean? And it's just like, I celebrate those things. And like I say, you know I am. I've got my reputation and stuff, but I've got a big heart and I love who I love. Like, I love my people. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Serious.
Can you just reel off a few of the names that you cut? Just for the people at home.
You still know your level, who you cut,
Okay, people who I've cut. I'm gonna miss probably a lot of people.
Exactly.
Yeah, just don't worry about you miss. Don't take it personally if he misses you.
Is it Anthony Joshua, Stormzy, Reggie Yates, Plan B, Ludacris.
Luda, yeah?
Yeah, Nelly, J. Cole, Kendrick Lamar, Janet Jackson. I'm gonna miss loads of people.
Some of these by word of mouth reputation when they come in town, they needed you in it.
There's different ways. There's been social media. There's been word of mouth. LeBron James. You saying that? LeBron
You got
James.
LeBron James here?
Yeah, LeBron James.
Clark, where?
Hotel. I'm in England. Dwayne Wade. Dizzy.
Yeah, I remember Dizzy. Dizzy's cool as well. Big up your chest, Dizzy, man.
Yeah.
You, the way you rolled out and everything you done, God bless you. Big up your chest every time. You're large, bro.
There's probably a lot of people. I'm forgetting Letitia Wright.
Letitia Wright, who's that?
She's Black Panther.
Okay.
It's probably Little Sims.
Okay.
Mac Miller.
Okay, wow, yeah.
Who's Mac Miller?
I don't know half these people.
Yeah, I know Slider Cuts now. I know the Wizard. You know what I mean? I know who I need to know.
Big.
Yeah, so that.
Just those names alone, man.
Nice.
Yeah,
nice,
those are the ones
nice.
off the top of my head, but I know I've forgotten quite a lot of people probably.
Yeah.
And what countries have you been flown out to as well? Where has barbering taken you worldwide?
Well, to cut hair, I've been flown to Lithuania, Miami, France,
Miami's the best one for me. Ooh.
Italy. I think that's been about it. Miami's where I met, what's her name actually, funny enough. I photobombed Kim Kardashian's picture.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, you met her probably though?
I didn't meet her properly. We bumped. What's weird is we actually end up bumping into each other. It was a weird situation because I saw her walk into this room, and I've got it on camera somewhere because I was just recording, because I just like recording stuff. And I said, oh, right. Like, imagine someone walking through a door, but you're recording, and I'm just narrating the video, saying, okay, you know, I'm at this event, this and that. And I'm like, she's walked through the door, and I haven't seen it yet, right? 'Cause I'm not looking, right? And then it's kind of like, all right. And I think someone says next to me, oh, there's Kim Kardashian, right? But she's on camera. She's walked into this place, right? So I've got it on camera somewhere where she's walked in, and I'm like, right. Then I'm like, right. Oh, should I be filming? Should I be filming? Should I be filming?
Yeah, what's the security bump us? You're good, cuz, you're good.
So then I was a bit like, oh, right, okay, I shouldn't maybe be. So I've got it on camera. There's kind of like, okay, right. I've got
to pay for this?
So I put the camera down, right? And then I'm like, right, Kim Kardashian's there. And I'm looking at her and I'm saying, this is weird. I said, Kim Kardashian's like in the same kind of like room as me. Right now, it's a bigger room than this. It's like a kind of an event space, right? But I'm just like, I started thinking, this is what was weird about it. I was walking and I'm kind of not daydreaming, but I'm kind of daydreaming. I'm thinking to myself, like, I'm just thinking, right, she's just there, like, because this is someone. It's not like I don't watch like Keeping Up with the Kardashians. Is that what it's called? Keeping Up with the Kardashians.
But she's famous. She's the most famous person you've seen, like, or being close to you like that.
Yeah,
like, I get it.
I kind of thought, right, you know, she's just there, and I'm walking, right?
Arms length away.
So I'm walking, right, and then this thing happens where I think I'm not noticing, but I'm walking, and then we bump into each other, like literally. So she's standing in front of me, and for that moment I said, right, I'm right in front of Kim Kardashian right now, right? And then I say to myself, where's the security? How am I right in front of her? Like, because I'm right in front of her. I mean, she's here.
Yeah,
right. And I said, because then I noticed, right, she's very short as well.
Yeah.
You know, but I was like, then I thought, where's the security? And also, this is all happening in like a split second, right? And then she just kind of smiles because we were sitting in front of each other. She's kind of like, I'm like, oh, I kind of just like move
nervous little move.
Then I move around her, right? And then later on, I'm just chilling and doing something, and then she's taking a picture right in front of me with her sister. I think it's Khloe Kardashian. And these two other guys, right? And they're like, oh, yeah, let's take a picture together as a photographer, right? And I'm behind them, and I'm like, I should just do a funny face right now.
Oh,
in this photo, just photobomb this picture. And then I said to myself, this is the story, right? And what's funny is I'm putting out this post this week on LinkedIn about how I photobombed Kim Kardashian's picture. So I said that, and in my head I said, actually, no, don't do that. That's silly. Because if you do a funny face, whenever this photographer sees that picture, he's not going to put the picture out. Because he's going to see there's some, like, they're going to put this idiot in the background is doing a funny face. So I said, actually, you know what? If you want to get in this picture, just casually look over. This is what I say. All of this split second, I say, just casually look over, right? And then this picture will go somewhere. Someone's going to see this picture who knows you, and that's how you're going to get this picture, right? I said it's all in like a second, right?
Yeah.
So, like, literally, I'm there behind
you. You in that mind of yours.
And I go,
I'm dead.
And it's not a photo bump. It's a casual face, so it's not like it's not anything stupid. I'm not going.
Yeah.
It's just a casual face. Like, so I almost did it like oh, what's going on over there? Like, oh, what's going on over there? So cool. That was it. Literally a few weeks later, right? Some guy sent it to me and says, "Bruv, I see you in the back of the picture."
Wow.
And then so I got the picture. Right?
Yeah,
I got the picture.
You sent it to me. I haven't listened to that.
You know, and I'm like, right. And it was funny because that was the plan. I said, don't do a silly face. Yeah. They will put it out somewhere because it's going to be somewhere. I don't know who these other two guys are, right? But it's going to be somewhere, right? And then someone will see it who knows you.
Yeah.
You know, someone's going to see it. And then this guy called Carl, who's a photographer from Holloway as well. Yeah.
I don't know.
He texted me, or no, he messaged me on Instagram saying, yeah, I see your message, something like that. And then I saw the picture. Then, you know, I took the picture. I was like, yeah. And that's how I got into the picture.
Yeah, nice. Oh, send me that picture, please.
Yeah.
We'll put this out. We'll put it on the page. Yeah. Put it out, man. Nice. No, the kids.
Yeah.
Because you and Damon in the barbershop, I have to. I've mentioned Damon a lot in the interview, but there's a reason because to me you're both synonymous. That's you two were the next generation in the barbershop after the last generation that was there. Frank and whoever was the last generation. Like, do you know what time? You know the story and everything. So you lot was the next generation, and you came up and started holding, like, it's almost like, you know, when someone's got a door that's coming down.
Yeah.
You lot came and started holding the door while everyone
Yeah.
else went through. So you lot
Yeah.
was holding the door. That's how I see you and Damon. And you've held it up
Yeah, yeah.
until you went move on and and transition to your own business.
Yeah.
Now Damon's there holding the thing up. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're holding up. So you're both like Atlas men of your own thing.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Say it for real. That's how I see you guys. You know what I'm saying? Because you came, because it's not easy to run a business. It's not easy to keep a business consistent.
Yeah.
Especially at a barbershop. There's so many moving parts.
Yeah.
And you two were the lungs of that place, or the heart and soul of that place for a long time.
Yeah, definitely.
If anyone says it, I know. Do you know what I mean? Without that, it would have just folded. It wouldn't have been a business.
Yeah.
You kept it up. You paid the rate. Let's not say all the politics, but you made it happen.
Yeah.
But on top of that, I noticed, which I'm sure you still do. I know Damon still does. You were untitled mentors for a lot of the kids in the area.
Yeah.
Like, without taking the title mentor, you were mentors for the children.
Yeah.
I was in there when you was telling children stuff you tried to teach people from your book.
Yeah.
Like, and even challenging them when they was doing silly things like, why did you go and buy that? Why did you do that? Why the internal beefs and stuff, like the things I've seen you lot do, just fleetingly coming in and out of the barbershop and what stuff. Amazing stuff. And then even the people that you've helped grow, the mothers you've helped support, because you've got mothers who bring their kids, single mothers who bring their kids to the barbershop to cut their hair, because that's what it is. Like, there's no dad to bring them there. So then you're now a male role model. You know, I'm trying to say that. Yeah. Sometimes my brain goes faster than my mouth can go. You know, allow me, people at home. I get excited, but you know what I'm trying to say. You were that, and you was even without laying down with the mums and all that stuff. You was the partner for the mum, because the mums will come and talk and confide in you and ask you questions. And do you know what I mean? There's all of that in the barbershop. I see it.
The kids in there for the whole day.
Yeah.
They leave the kids in there.
Yeah.
They would bring the kids there and not know what to do with them, and then slide or Dame would say, okay, don't worry. Pick up a broom, sweep, and teach them. Yeah, then they'll be there all day, like what you said. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, talk to me about that. Like, how did that come about for you? Like, because there's barbers in there who just go in and cut hair and go home and collect their money and go home. Do you know what I mean? Both of you two plugged into the community.
Yeah, for me, how it happened for me on my side was to do with just always wanting to give back to where I was coming from, and always just not only giving back to where I was coming from, because that's just kind of like a cliche saying that people always say, but it actually was looking at people in a struggle and just thinking, how can I help you? So I remember one of the boys, right, who started working at the shop, right? I remember literally I used to see him walk past the shop all the time, and he used to have like a bad haircut. So I could see that his mum or whoever, dad or whoever is at home was cutting his hair, and he lived across the road. So it came to a point when we used to say hello to this boy, because he lives on the road at the barber shop, just always about up and down, just see him. So now we're just kind of saying, oh, you're right there, this and that, whatever it is. I can't remember why one day he walked into the shop, not to get a haircut, right? And I remember always saying to myself, I want to cut this boy's hair. I don't charge him. I just want you to have, like, you know, you're a young boy in this area, right? I just want you to have a good haircut, right? I'm not caring about money, you know, I just want to, and also just seeing you up and down all the time doing nothing. So he came to the barbershop one day. I can't remember why he walked into the barbershop, and it was almost like that was the opportunity, because I wasn't going to randomly go out on the street and start talking to this guy who I don't know.
Yeah. No good look.
You know, but he walked in and he sat down. I can't remember if his auntie or his gran or something like that sent him over to do, I can't remember why, but he walked in and I said to him, what are you doing with your life? And he's just like, what do you mean? Like, I don't know, nothing.
You used to ask questions like that all the time. I love it. You know? Carry on, sorry.
I was like, what are you doing? I said, you know, he's like, like he didn't understand the question. I was like, what do you do? Like, you know, what's going on? Like, what do you do all the time? You're up and down. What do you do? And he was just like, oh, I know. I said, like, you know, go ask, you know, whoever your carer is, your mum, your dad, your gran, whoever it is, your carer is, and say that, what do you call it? We want to give you a job. He goes, oh, okay. I said, yeah, but go speak to him and say, I want to give you a job. You come here, you sweep up, you go shop for us, you know, you'll get paid. Just go and ask whoever your carer is. I said, okay, cool. And that's how he got a job. It wasn't even like it was, I just used to see people and I used to see the need. And also because of how I was brought up, that's where that kind of like, that thing came from, because when I look at these younger people, sometimes I see myself in them. So when I seen him with that bad haircut, I connected with him, because I'm thinking to myself, I remember the home haircuts and not having good haircuts. So I'm just like, you know, even if I could just give you a haircut, let me just give you a haircut. You know, I know, you know, I was growing up poor, we were homeless at a stage, then, passed around from place to place, council place to council place, homeless shelter, so on and so on, not having anything, didn't have trainers, I just remember being insulted for that, because, our trainers was from Shoe Express, it cost you a few pounds to get trainers and all those things there. So when I see these younger people,
was that? Sorry.
when I was from anytime from when I was, 6, 7 till when I was about, I don't know, 13, 14. I think my first name brand trainers, which were these Nike trainers, I was in my teens, So and then I used to be the kid people used to diss me and my brother, that was like the poor, rough kind of kids, this and that. We used to get dissed. My brother was from young, I was kind of like being like, oh, well, I want to do stuff to...
Peter.
To get money, because Peter, wasn't happy with that lifestyle. I was more on the kind of like, I'll go through the process of life and, and make it happen kind of that way. But Peter was always kind of like just pushing from young, so where that was
he makes
me.
more sense now.
Yeah.
From you said he makes more sense to me now.
Yeah.
God.
So now when I see younger people, even up to today, like I just connect with that. I just see them, whether it's kind of like, you're just struggling, whether it's a bad haircut you're having. I see kids on the street. I just want to say to them, come to the shop, you can get a haircut for free. But I just can't walk up to someone and just say that to them. Or I see kids that looks like they're struggling, and it's just kind of like, I wish I could just give you some money, but that's just weird. This older guy is giving kids money. And the way you can do that is through giving people jobs.
Yeah, giving money ain't going to help some people. You have to give to help them grow a bit more.
Yeah, and you get to mentor them and teach them and guide them and protect them and keep them away from all of the nonsense. Because if you're in school for the first 5 days, then on Saturday we've got you here, then you've only really got one day to get up to any nonsense. So as long as we can help you and mentor you and keep you in school, because that's what some of the things we were doing. Like I remember being called in. These are things people don't see, being called in by someone's school.
Wow.
To come and basically vouch for them and to kind of do something to basically keep them in school, right? Because they have parents, but their parents were kind of like disconnected and not involved. And this is the thing we don't realize, that when we look at like a bunch of children, we just see children and we think, the child, especially in London, England,
in the city,
you just think, children are just having great lives. But there are so much children which are coming from homes of crack addicted homes, abuse, neglect, and so on. But when they're coming out, you just see children, but you don't see maybe the beatings they're holding for no reason. You don't see the fact that they are not being fed, because their parents are off their heads, high off different type of drugs. Or you just think, that kid's just a rough kid. That kid's just, just a rude kid. But it's kind of like, I grew up and started realizing, especially with some of the friends I knew from school, I got older and realized, right, he grew up in a crack house. And then it's like, it now makes sense why he acted the way he acted. Friends from my area who would be out for 2-3 days, and I used to be jealous of them, to be like, right, how come you can be out this whole time? My mum's, I got a curfew, my mum's coming out looking for me, and, I got to be in before the sun, sets and all that kind of stuff there. And these guys are not only going in after the sun sets, they're out the whole night. I remember being young saying, one day I want to do an all-nighter, because they used to always talk about these all-nighters they used to do. Just being out the whole night. And I couldn't do that. And I was envious of them. But then I got older and realized, oh, wow, no, if you're able to do that, it just means you're neglected. There's no reason why a kid should be able to be out of their house for a few days and you don't know where they are and you don't care to check up on them. You're being neglected and there's something else going on in that adult's life. So so now I'm looking at all these things that I now start to see it more in younger people. So then it's kind of like, well, I want to pull you out of that situation. So let me give you some guidance. Okay, cool. So I'll be the one who takes you to school, or I'll be the one who kind of goes and speaks to your school and say, okay, cool, this is what it is, this and that. Okay, no, I'll make sure that he does this and he does that. It's just actually just seeing those needs.
Go on.
So that's where, for me, it all came from. It's just seeing the need. Even like I remember, like at one stage, having this not argument, but just like this kind of not disagreement. But me and Damon, like the kids were acting up. Some of the kids were just acting up, and Damon was like, you know what? I'm tired of these kids. Let them bounce in it. This and that. And I said to Damon, but it doesn't make sense, because we're not here trying to bring perfect kids onto this kind of like this scheme. The reason why we're here is to take imperfect kids who are troubled kids and kind of like guide them and help them. So if we kick them out of this, mentoring runner scheme type thing they were doing, then we're just putting them back into the streets.
What was you doing?
I named it a runner scheme.
Okay.
That's why I just call it a runner scheme, hire boys between 13 and 16,
runners.
Runners,
yeah.
Like
on set.
Like on set, because you do acting, that's because I did acting, that's exactly where the name came from. As a runner, your job is anything.
Yeah. It makes sense, but you learn as you're doing it. Yeah. It's a good job to have.
So that's why I named it runners, because actors, you're definitely knowing it. So, I just call it a runner scheme. So that's why I was just like, us like letting someone go doesn't make sense, because where do we leave them? Yes, this person's done like wrong, but ultimately he's a bad kid. That's why we took him on, because he's a bad kid.
Or I wouldn't even say they're bad children. They're just children who need attention or need direction and stuff. The ones or misguided kind of thing.
But he's in that place of, call it, let's say, bad kids. So the reason why we're taking him, because we're like, okay, let's help you. Let's help them. I'm not even talking about even directly, just even one person. Let's help them and take them out of that patch. So we can't be surprised when they do something bad.
Yeah.
Because that's the reason why we're trying to help them.
Yeah.
So we can't kick them out because they've done something bad.
Yeah.
We can punish them, definitely, but kicking them out was never an option for me, because it was like, well, what's the alternative and where did they go to?
It's a lot, yeah. It's a lot. I mean, I even now, having all my kids and everything and looking at society and what's going on, it's saddening. And you can only do as much as you can do. When you've got business like you have and other people have, you can plug in. Yeah. If you haven't got a business or anything, you can still go around and be a decent human being to other human beings, basically, as far as I see it. And try not to react to things certain times, because a lot of people are living in a state of fear right now.
Yep.
And that fear is being fed, that narrative that's being fed. When you see the youth, you fear the youth because of certain things you've seen on TV. Them say for you for in fear because of half the stuff you've said that they potentially may be going through, and how they perceive adults. And that's just a vicious circle. We have to try and be the change to show them there's other people in the world and you can be nice. So it's like, wow. So like, it's saddening, but it's also refreshing to know that you can make a difference, or refreshing to know, okay, let me not label that person or that child with the same brush everyone else is labeling them with. Let me think about how the person I am, and maybe give them a chance to show me the person they are, and then help direct them, kind of like you were saying, don't kick them out, help direct them. That's what a lot of people need, just a little bit of help and direction. Because no one knows what's right in this life. No one can tell me they know what's right. Nobody. Slider cuts. Ow. It hurts. What we got? Okay, we've just spoken about kids. You're rolling the church.
Well, yeah, I go to church, I'm a Christian, so I go to church. I attend church.
No, don't give me that. Don't give me that. I'm going to talk about church. I'm not going to swear or anything. Don't give me that. I go to church. Yeah, I'm talking about. No, you are the same way. I think you're. I said you're an Atlas man. You're and Damon are Atlas man on certain spectrums with the barbershop.
Yeah.
I believe you're the same in the church, because your journey has been a certain journey, but your testimony is to God, is for God. You do things as an avid Christian.
Yeah.
You just said as a Christian is why your teachings as a Christian, the love you was told by Jesus to put onto other people, is the reason you helped cut that guy's hair who sat outside and everything. That is something. Not every Christian can say they'll do what is right in the moment that they're supposed to do it, Slider. Yeah? So, therefore, go to church. No. Like for me, this is me saying to you, no, you are probably a beacon for the younger people, a beacon for the older people, and you're an example to show. And I know you're taking the same energy that you have in the barbershop and everywhere else to church. Yeah. For the people at church.
Yeah.
So even that, so then it's even more. Do you know what I'm saying?
Like, I try to do my part,
Humility's fine.
Yeah.
Modesty's fine.
No, I try to do my part, where I can, even like, funny enough, like even the book Shaping Up Culture, like part of that even happened because from the youth in the church, because when I was talking to the youth in the church, they used to always say to me, we really like the way you deliver things and the way you put it out there. It's so relatable. So
when you talk to the youth in the church, how did that come? What was you saying? You just like start talking to the youth, or was you standing up on the stage? Is it a seminar? Is it
so there was like kind of like they would have like a youth service. Okay. And they were asking people, who would volunteer to do the youth service. Yeah. So for me, in doing the youth service, my thing was always about, first of all, delivering what I'm saying to them in a very relatable way. And also, it was never about badgering them. It was always about, you have the freedom to do whatever you want. And I've always made it clear to people, you can do whatever you want. But I'm here to tell you what I think the right way is to do it, and basically the biblical way is to do things, right? And to give you understanding, because it's always important for me to give people understanding as to why they were doing what they were doing as well. So they used to always talk about it was really relatable the way to put it out there, because it wasn't just for me about just reading out text on a page, you know, because anyone can do it. Anyone who knows how to read can just say, okay, well, today, kids, Jesus said do this, Jesus said do that, Jesus said do that. Okay, great service. Bye-bye, everyone.
Word and the word was God.
Anyone can read that. But for me, it was about actually, how do I deliver this to people in their life situations? So I would talk to them about things, and I'd be like, you guys are like 13, 14. So I said, the reality is, I'd say things like, which maybe some of the other youth leaders would not talk about, because they might think, we don't want to talk to them about the kids about that. But I'm like, well, the reality is, the age they're at now, they're talking about it with their friends.
Believe it.
So I just say things like, look, so the young girls in the church, in the group, I'll be like, listen, boys are going to be putting pressure on you to do things now, to have sex and so on. They're going to be doing that, right? It's down to you to make the decision whether you're going to do it or not. But understand this. I said, I'm working in a barbershop. I see these kids, this and that. Don't fall for it. I just be real. Like, don't fall for these things they're talking. I said, guys, especially older guys do it as well, but especially young guys, right? They'll say anything. Because the goal,
anything and everything.
Yeah, the goal is you. The goal is to have sex with you. So whatever they have to say, they're gonna say it. It's just.
I'm not laughing. Man.
Yeah, I said it's the reality. I said, I said older guys do it as well, but I think older guys probably girls mature more and they understand it more, but even then they still get duped into it, right? So I'll just say to them, look, what I'm saying to you is, look, the way we're supposed to be living, this is the way we're supposed to be living, right? Biblically, we're not supposed to be having sex outside of marriage. Me and my wife didn't have sex outside of marriage until we got married. You
done well as well. I'm proud of you, and I know about that. We spoke about that before. Well done.
And it's not like a boastful thing. And I said, this is just the way it's supposed to be. But it's down to you. It's not like a pressure we're not the ones putting pressure. It's a decision you need to make, and understand, if you do these things, just understand what you're doing, know what you're doing, and it should be done in a mindset that almost like the consequences or anything that comes with it. So that could be getting pregnant. That could be catching a disease. Because here's the thing as well. Boys never run around, even in a male-dominated barbershop. No one's ever running around talking about, I caught this, I caught that. It's nothing proud. But the sexual health clinics are filled up. They're filled up. There's never a day where there's no appointments. But I don't hear no guys talking about, I caught this, I caught that. No one's boasting about it.
I fuck this and I fuck that.
But they're talking about everyone they're sleeping with. Yeah. But no one's talking about what they caught. There's only been like literally a couple of situations in the whole time I've been in the barbershop, but maybe 3 to 5 times I've heard anyone ever say, do you know what? Yeah, actually, I caught this. Actually, I caught that, yeah. But no one's talking about it.
When I was young, they used to say, when I was young, they wouldn't say I caught something. They say, my man's walking with a gun.
Yeah.
You got the gun, or you got the clap. The
clap,
They wouldn't actually say specifically, you've got a venereal disease. Yeah. You've sexually transmitted disease. You was nasty, you've caught it, now you deal with it. But yeah.
So I just speak to them about these things and just talk about, there's all these things that can happen.
Yeah.
None of it might happen. But you just got to know what comes with all of these things there. So if you're going to make that decision, don't make the decision and then something like this happens and then say you didn't know. Yeah. And that was just always my thing with them. Yeah. I can't force you to do anything, but I can tell you what I think you should be doing and how it's supposed to be done. And then you make the decision from there. So then they used to be like, you know what? It's just the way you say the message is just kind of like, it's really relatable. You should really do talks. I think you should really do talks. And that and one other thing was the reason that's why I started doing the vlogs, which were called Shaping Up Culture on YouTube, which ended up being a book, because they were saying to me, yeah, you know what, you really say it in a relatable way.
So vlogs is like, because I don't even know what a vlog is. This is when you just talk to the camera.
Talk to the camera and put it out there. And then blogging is written work. It's the stuff you write and then you put it out.
I'm going to start vlogging, my folks. I know what it is. I'm going to start vlogging. I'm learning from brother Slider. So Slider cuts. Ow. What we got in the future coming from Slider Cuts?
The things that are coming from Slider Cuts would be, at the moment,
yeah. I'm ahead of you.
At the moment, the stuff that will be coming will be, I'd like to potentially one day open up a academy, but I want it to be like a barbering academy that's connected to a business academy, teaching people about business as well. Just because a lot of the barbering academies, all of the barbering academies right now, they teach people how to cut hair, but then people come out and then they're messaging me, asking me questions like, so, I've got my qualification now. How do I get a job? What should I do? Is this deal okay? And all these things there, which I'm like, well, have they not taught you any of these things in, the academy that you were in? And I've always just found it strange. So I've always been like, there's a gap there. So I would potentially like to open up an academy, and then I would focus on teaching these people these things, because it's all good giving someone a skill, or teaching someone how to fish, as examples. Like, you're giving someone a life skill, great. But then you don't teach anyone where the fishes are.
Or where to sell them.
Where to sell them. Or where the ponds are. Or where the ponds are. So you come out and you're like, I know how to fish now. And now they put you into the real world. It's kind of like, okay, so where are the rivers then? And there's, there's a river. Great. I've got fish. Okay, what do I do with it? How do I cook a fish? Or what do I sell it? There's nothing else taught to them. It's just, so it's kind of like you're teaching people life skills, but I feel like there's something missing. So I'd actually like to open up an academy that fills that gap. More public speaking, write more books. I think for now, those are the things which I want to do. I'm doing the other things which I want to do already, which is already coming to fruition, which is like I live a lot more of a balanced life. I'm fully involved in my children's lives. I'm there, like even after this, I'm going to pick my children up from school, take them swimming, stuff like that.
My G!
So one of my major fulfillments or major things which I wanted to do in my life, I'm doing it already. So it's hard even when people say to me, what's next? What do you want? Because I'm kind of living the things which I want, because the things I want are actually very simple. Like even from young, like the things which I wanted, like I wanted to get married, I wanted to have a family, I want to be involved in my family's life, and I want to be able to support them, and I wanted to be connected to communities and friends. This is kind of everything which I kind of want, and I'm kind of getting those things now, because ultimately, no matter how much success you have, how much money you make, I've always heard this same thing from older, successful people. They always say, if I could go back, I would have spent more time with my family. I would have connected more with friends. I would have spent more time with families. I'd have been more with my children's lives. And I've heard this from everyone. Even right now. And I spoke to someone the other day who runs a massive company, and something happened with him. And he just said it made him really think about what's really important. So when I always hear these things, for me, it's like, don't be stupid by hearing all this information and then being someone who's almost like, when I get older, I'll do that. Your children don't stay children forever, one. And your children don't want to know you forever either. Because it gets to a stage when they become late teens.
No, it's not even they don't want to know you.
No, I mean, they don't care that much. They have
their own trials and tribulation to live. Like,
they go have their own friends, they have this and that. They want to go out, they want to do cinema, they're this and that, they're chilling. All those things there. So the time which you had when they were really looking up to you as you're the man, this and that goes.
Can I add to that though?
And
you see, if you do what you're doing right now, you have that time when they look up to you like you're the man. Then they have the time when they disconnect.
Yeah, then they come back.
Because of all the stuff because if you create a relationship, they will come back and start doing some of the stuff you've done, or tell you about the stuff that they're doing with their kids. Yeah. And that's the money right there. That cycle is the money right there.
I said it. They go away, then they get a bit older and mature, and then it comes back, because then it becomes more of like an adult friendship.
Yeah, but when you plug it in the initial friendship, it can be better. It doesn't mean it doesn't happen when they get older.
Yeah.
But if you plug in now like you are, then you've got more to talk about later on. You're more bonded when you get older.
Yeah, so that's why I love it. I'm doing this stuff like, I'm always like picking up my children, take them to school, pick them up. I go on the school trips, all these things there. I'm living out the things which I actually want. So, when people are thinking about the success and this and you're cutting this person, the things which I really enjoy is like, I'm looking forward to going to pick up my son again from school and take him to swim. Even though sometimes it's long, especially when it's a rainy day, it's just like, this is just long. And because I never had those things as a kid as well, I think I'm living it through
it's good. It's
through him, like, giving him that thing there.
It's beautiful.
So so when even what's next, there's a couple maybe business things which I'm going to be doing, but ultimately it's
family.
It's family, it's friends. Even like, over the last 10 years, 15 years of my life, I think friendships have been neglected because I've just been so focused on what I'm doing. And, they say, someone told me the other day, they heard that one of these three things will be neglected or ignored on your journey to success, if whatever you're really pursuing, is your family, your friends, or the business itself. One thing one thing has to be neglected if you can't do all of them. They said one thing, but I told the person, actually, I think two things genuinely get neglected. If you're focused fully on business, your family and friend normally will get neglected. Most of the time, I was just fortunate.
Happens, innit?
But I was just fortunate because of the job I work. I had my son in the shop all the time. You know, one day a week, my son, I'd bring him, he'd be on my back cutting hair. I'd take him on call-outs with me to cut hair. You know, I was able to engraft my family into what I was doing. But if it wasn't for that, then in my journey, what I've had now, my family and friends would be neglected. You know, but I've just made it in a way that I can, you know, shift my schedule. You know, I'd work earlier. I'd do things
church helps as well, isn't it?
Church. But then I'd do things like I'd start work at, let's say, 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning. I'd work till like 7:30. Then I'd go home, and then I would get this was like before my second son was born. I'd get my older son ready for school, brush his teeth, this and that, blah, blah, blah. Take him to school, or nursery. Then from there, go straight back to work. Then in the afternoon, late afternoon, when he finishes around 4:30, I'd go back, pick him up, bring him to the barbershop. He'd spend about an hour and a half with me in the barbershop. Then I'd take him home, put him to bed. You know, so then it's kind of like I was making it in a way that because I'm self-employed and stuff like that, I can make my schedule tailor it and work it like that I'm able to do those type of things there. You know, and I'm happy that I've done those things there. But now, even though I've got a bit more breathing space, now it's kind of like more like I don't work as much as I used to. Well, I don't cut hair as much as I used to. I still work a lot, but I don't cut hair. So now it's kind of like I can tailor things around where I'm like, go take my son to school, took him to school this morning, both of them to school, pick them both up, take him swimming. If I'm able to take him football, do this, do that, you know, spend time with my wife, you know, spend time in the community. This is actually, I'm enjoying life, right? And it's because I'm able to do these things there.
Nice. It sounds beautiful. I mean, I can't think of any better note to kind of like finish up on. Is there anything you want to ask me, Snyder, or ask the wizard before we finish now?
No, I'm all right. All right. I need to get home in time to pick up my children.
I love that.
I've got 35 minutes.
This was Slider Cuts. There's something I need to talk to you about, but I don't think, we got a little bit of time, so we'll leave it. No, I'm going to ask you there because I have to get it. Let me get it in. So I won't give you for long. The move from being at D&L's to your own business, because for me it was sudden. After this interview now, you haven't even told me what the move is, but I'm good. Even before I came here, because my way of thinking has changed, I'm good. Everyone has to evolve how they evolve. Your life is your journey to take. I think some people were upset with you, and I think I was one of them, and I'll be honest about it, because we didn't know, you were just gone. All of a sudden, Slider's he's moved his whole fucking business to down there, and we thought it was D&L's, like, I'm talking from the heart, we thought it was D&L's, no, like, D&L's to death, like, this is the London equivalent of the Bloods and the Crips, this is our gang, do you know what I'm saying? And Slider's gone and opened his own shop, and left us, and like, man saying, Damon, what happened, what's going on? And Damon's like, do you know what I mean? Because you can't tell anything because of another man. But for me, since it's happened, and since my evolution and growing, even maturing, and it wasn't that long ago, everyone's got to do what they should do, and you got to cater for your family. And you can't stay in a bloody pot like this if you're supposed to be in the field. And that is just it. As good as it is in that pot, and as nice as the memories as you've made, all of them are irrespective. And anyone, this is me, you can explain to me afterwards, I'll be explaining everything for you. Anyone who don't understand that, or takes anything personally, this doesn't make no sense. That's all I'm saying to that. You know what I'm saying? And I had everything, and it all went around for me. Like I said, you're my brother. I love you with my heart, right? But initially, I was like, "What? How can he? Well, no, wait till I see Slider. I want to talk to him." You know what I mean? What, fucking jump ship, punk bitch. All of that, you get cussed. But I retract everything I said, and I've retracted it ever since me and Damon spoke as well, properly, nicely as well. And I just understand it's something you have to do. But in doing it, the stick he must have got from certain people, the power it must have took to make that decision and stuff. And I know, well, I don't know, but I believe you're in a much better place now. I'm proud of you, and it is what you needed to do. And it's like you've got your own empire you're building, and it's growing and stuff. And that technically, everyone and anyone should have wished that for you, Damon, and anyone see they're going for you to evolve and get bigger and better, and to be able to do for your community and your family. But doing that move, like, we've got a little bit of time, but how was that, and how much backlash did you get, and how hard was that to make happen?
Well, it was definitely going to be a bit. We couldn't
finish without saying this one. You know?
It was going to be a bit of backlash, you know. But one, I gave everyone notice. I told everyone, like, so even though it seemed like it happened suddenly, but I told everyone 3 years before I left. So it wasn't like a surprise to Damon. He knew 3 years. The owners, they knew 3 years before I left. So it wasn't a surprise. I never done anything underhanded or anything like that. I made sure that when I made the decision, as soon as I made that decision, the week I made the decision, I told everyone. I told the owners. I told Damon. I said, I'm putting it out there. This is the decision which I'm making. I didn't have anywhere maybe yet that I was going to. I just said, you know what, this is what I'm planning to do. The reason as to why I made that decision was because, it's a long story, but to make it short, was one, I was like co-managing the shop with Damon.
Yeah.
Right. You know, so, and I was the one which was more so the one who was always kind of like pushing for, let's do this, let's make the things, let's make it this way, let's do this, let's do that. You know, just the one who's like, buzzing with all these ideas and all these type of things there, right? And we should do this, and I think we should do it this way, and all those type of things there, right? So I was always having these ideas, and there were things which they weren't happening because of things like, you know, it's not my shop. Just very simple, it's just not my shop. You know, so it's not a beef, and this is something I always want people to know as well. There's no issue with the fact that you can't do something you want to do in someone else's place. It's just not your place. You know, some people get mad, you know, this person's holding me back. They're not holding you back. It's just their space. Yeah. You know, if you go to someone's house, you respect the rules of their house. You do it the way they do things. If you don't like it, then you go and rent your own place or buy your own place, and then you do it yourself. You know, so I'm always telling people, like, people say, oh yeah, they're holding me back, I want to do this. It's like, but it's not your place. Like, why are you, like, you're mad at someone at the way they're running their own place, and they won't let you do what you want to do in their place. Yeah. It's like, no. So there was no issues with it. I was like, I'm respectful of leadership and, you know, elders and all that stuff there. So how they want to do it, how they want to do it. The things which I was able to implement, I implemented. Yeah. Right. But ultimately it came to a place where I was realizing there's so much more I actually want to do, and I can't do it in a space that's not mine. Yeah. Because I need to have my own space to be able to do this and do that and all these type of things there. And this, that, the vision which I had of a shop, you know, I couldn't do it there because, and I had tried, you know, and I tried it with, you know, with David and with the other barbers, like, let's do this and that. And here's the thing, let's be real about it. David's older than me, and David's the one who hired me.
I know.
So there's a respect level as well, where it's kind of like, you know, even when I was even trying to implement things, it was even like a very cautious thing that I was doing to try and get it in to him, because it's kind of like, you know,
diplomacy is like,
you know, and if he didn't do it, so I remember telling the other barbers to do stuff, and then, you know, they're like, let's do this from now, and then, you know, Damon didn't do it. And it's just kind of like cool.
That's the uniforms and everything as well, isn't it? That kind of stuff as well.
Well, I wanted to implement uniforms from before, you know. There's so much stuff I wanted to do, social media, there was so much stuff, right? And then just kind of like, you know, ultimately it came to a place where it's just like, if you want to do those things there, you need to go get your own space, and then you can do those things there, because you're managing someone else's shop, right? Yeah. And you're running it to the best of your ability, and you're doing what you can do, but you actually have a bigger vision, which you can't implement here. Yeah. So that's when it's kind of like, actually,
makes sense.
Let me open my own space then. Because here's the thing is, the funny thing is, if I was able, it's actually, and this is why it's actually even a blessing, because if I was able to do all those things there, I never would have opened up my own shop. If I was able to implement all the things I wanted to implement, I actually wouldn't have actually grown. So actually, even sometimes people get mad at, they feel like it's suppression. It's not even suppression. It's just kind of like, it's other people's spaces. That allowed me to actually say, okay, do you know what? Actually, I can't do all these things here. I need to do my own thing to go there. And that's why it wasn't a beef. That's why I told people straight away. You know, people told me.
I wasn't around. I mean, no one told me. I got like, he was like, where's Slider? He's gone.
Yeah, but everyone knew. Like I said, 3 years before I left, everybody knew. Like I told everyone straight away. People told me, don't tell, like, certain people, don't tell the owners this and that. Like, when you've got the place and you're ready to leave, like, just leave. And I was like, nah. And I said, I'm not doing that. And I said, the reason why I'm not doing that is because if I do it that way, then it makes it seem like I'm doing something wrong. I said, I'm not going to start my business.
He done it the right way.
On a bad foundation.
He done it the right way.
So I said, I'll just tell everyone. Everyone knows. Everyone in the shop knew. The owners knew. Obviously, there's loads of back and forth with talking to people, because that's just going to happen. Any breakup, even if it's amicable to some degree, or even if it's kind of like there's no beef in a sense. Yeah. No breakup is clean.
Because like we've come across in this interview, that was your startup. You was grown there. You was born there as a barber. You was born there as a barber at home, but you really came to barber.
Yeah, definitely.
That was my understanding. You know what I'm saying? So for you to leave, like I was like, this is like it's like someone's coming to a football club, them going and them just jumping ship. Yeah. But I was unaware of the politics behind the scenes of the 3-year thing that was given.
Yeah, I told everyone. Yeah.
So
everyone knew. So it wasn't like a beef. Like even when I opened up my shop, everyone got invited.
I didn't. You never have my number. I'm not going to blame you, but I'm always up and down and all around. I think I might not even been in the country.
I don't think you probably were in the country.
I think that's when I was in America some of that time. Some of that happened when I was away.
Maybe, but everyone got invited. You know, they came down. They all came down. Even the owners got invited, they didn't come through, you know. They sent messages though. So it wasn't like it was some sneaky thing. And the reason why I never spoke about it was out of respect for the shop. Because I said, I'm not going to start even almost drawing people away. Like, oh, you guys, you know I'm leaving. So that's the reason why I didn't even tell anyone. That's why everyone found out like 2 days before I opened up my shop on the launch. Some people obviously knew, you know, my friends. This
makes sense. It makes sense.
But I was like, I'm not taking anything away from the shop. So even when people are like, oh, you taking any barbers? I was like, no, I'm gonna start again because I'm starting. So I'm not gonna take anything from the shop, you know, or even attempt to take anyone from the shop, right?
That'll be problems already. So we're gonna do this now.
Yeah.
That's what we're gonna close up now. Because I want you to get your kids on time as well.
Yeah.
And then that is Live Talks one more time. Ayo Fawole, voice wizard, and slider, cut. Ooh, yeah, my man. I enjoyed that slider, right? I can't wait to get you on a game. We're gonna talk some YouTube or something. We're gonna find something.